What if I tell you that Call of Duty was dying and Modern Warfare 2019 saved it? Yeah, you would believe me, it's not even dramatic anymore. But what if I tell you that we needed the new Modern Warfare series, or at least Modern Warfare 2019 more than you can imagine? And even more so, Call of Duty itself needed the new Modern Warfare 2019. Now that's dramatic. What went wrong with a franchise as big and as beloved as Call of Duty? How a fanbase as die-hard as Call of Duty's became the reason for its downfall, and how a single game was able to save it all. To understand that, we have to take a look into the past, a closer look at all the titles that were released. So join me into a short but reminiscing Call of Duty nostalgia train into past. Until
train go boom.
Let's go to a time 11 years ago. The year was 2013. Everyone was still riding high on the Black Ops 2 experience, both campaign and multiplayer, until Call of Duty Ghosts dropped. And we all know the story. As a guy who wouldn't even be into the gaming for a lot more years to come, knew that COD Ghosts was something to avoid. But we gotta give credit where it is due. COD Ghosts was just like Black Ops 2, at least in one aspect. They were similar in a sense that they both unified the COD community, where everyone loved Black Ops 2, everyone hated Ghosts. But enough about Ghosts, cause coming after in the following year would be Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Hold on, let me check. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
You give them that, and they'll follow. And that's where I come in.
The story was a tad bit different here. Now COD was jumping into the prevailing trend of futuristic gameplay and fast movement, and the jetpacks. But the game wasn't all bad. It was divisive. Some people were happy with it, some weren't as much. Black Ops 2 had struck a perfect balance between boots on the ground and futuristic themed gameplay. From that to a letdown of a COD Ghosts, people were thrown straight into this new futuristic theme where everything was advanced. Okay, I really need to work on my puns. So point being, while for some it worked, for others it didn't. But that's the multiplayer side. Story-wise, everyone was on the same page. Advanced Warfare's story was decent. Gameplay-wise as well, there were a lot of new improvements and new things and jetpacks.
Give me a break.
The infamous 3-year development cycle strikes again, with Treyarch handling the reins this time. This game wasn't good or bad. No, this game was too much. With fanbase already divided with the futuristic theme, we get yet another game with futuristic theme and hyperfast movement, and community wasn't happy. Don't get me wrong, they weren't angry, they just weren't happy. They would prefer boots on the ground style more. Yet, the trend prevails and we get Black Ops 3.
We wanted a perfect future. And fuck, we got it.
But to think about it for a second, with Black Ops 1 set in past, Black Ops 2 being in both near past and near future, Black Ops 3 was always going to be a future-based game, whether it was a trend at that time or not. It was meant to be a futuristic game. And for the campaign, unlike previous year where Advanced Warfare's campaign was genuinely good, BO3 was weird, or creative, or a bit too much out of the box, or train go boom. However you wish to describe it, it wasn't completely unenjoyable. As weird as it was, I was actually excited to see where the story was going, and also excited to see the train go boom. Yeah, even if the train didn't go boom, people's minds were about to. Cause the game that was going to release next year was...
The needs of our planet were greater than she could supply. So we sent men beyond the reaches of our atmosphere.
We will eradicate the authority of the Earth!
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We are well into 2016 now, and for the third consecutive year, we get yet another futuristic themed game, and community had it enough. They were harsh towards this game, very harsh. If multiplayer was the culprit, campaign was the innocent victim. Campaign, even after being a pretty solid one, suffered the burns of immense heat coming from the multiplayer side. And it became one of those children where, after growing up, the father would say,
"Perhaps I treated you too harshly."
Even if Infinite Warfare had a ton of great gameplay innovations, it just didn't have the setting that was appealing to the fanbase anymore. Now looking back at it, it's not as bad as we made it out to be. But it doesn't matter, because devs listened.
Lieutenant, tell them what we're all about.
No mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great.
Welcome to the bloody first. You're a long way from Texas, farm boy.
COD was back on its original boots on the ground theme, and fans were happy about it. COD was back to its roots, and it was fun and refreshing. The game was Call of Duty World War II. It reminded community what made us fall in love with COD in first place. While it didn't add anything new or exceptional, things were still looking great because this is what fans wanted, and this is what fans needed. A simple dish with very few ingredients, but executed to the perfection. Campaign is one of the really good ones. Characters were careable, I don't know if that's a word, but we cared about those characters, and the story, while nothing groundbreaking, was still a pretty enjoyable experience. To some, it was one of the best COD stories. The campaign was a perfect example of staying in the mold of what works and doing it perfectly. For once in a long time, COD only needed to be what it was, just another boots on the ground FPS game. For once, COD didn't need to innovate to be something new. COD didn't need to soar as high into the sky as possible, but it needed to dig as deep as possible into its roots. And it did just that. With a decent multiplayer experience and a pretty solid campaign, it looked like COD was starting to stand on its feet again, and it wouldn't be long until we see it running as fast as it could. 2 or 3 more bangers and Call of Duty would be the biggest franchise again, as if it wasn't. It started to look like COD was going in the right direction, and in upcoming years it would once again gain that cult-like following it once had. It started to look like COD would become the Call of Duty it once was. Until...
Alone, you can put up a fight. But together, you can start a war.
Treyarch was at the reins again. This game also received Activision's classic 3-year development cycle. Everyone was excited to see what it was going to be, how it was going to be. Would the train go boom this time? Or was it gonna be a plane that goes boom this time? So yeah, everyone was excited until Activision nuked all of our expectations when it dropped Black Ops 4. Future again. God. And oh yes, no campaign. Seriously, what the fuck? Bro, Call of Duty Vanguard has a campaign, although it isn't something it should boast about, but at least it had it. Oh yeah, the jetpacks, they were there, not in multiplayer this time, because for the first time Call of Duty had an actual Battle Royale mode, and credit where it is due, Blackout, the BR mode, was actually pretty fun. Again, some liked it and some didn't. But it just wasn't the COD that was supposed to be the successor of World War II. Quite polarizing to last year, where it was looking like Call of Duty was coming back to its glory. COD was now standing with its one foot in grave. One more failure and COD would be done. Just imagine the thought of not seeing a COD release for unknown amount of time. Just imagine me not getting a new COD for foreseeable future. That was a quite literal possibility. And now Call of Duty needed a miracle itself. And it got one. This marks the year when COD was saved. This is the year when Call of Duty got the miracle it desperately needed. Because the game that released this year was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. I would really appreciate if you could make the train go boom on both like and subscribe buttons. As it's a very small channel, I need you guys' support. So when we got to know that COD 2019 was a soft reboot of Modern Warfare series, it is safe to say that the announcement certainly got everyone's attention. Now the only thing game had to do was deliver, and Call of Duty was at a point where just being mediocre wasn't going to be enough. And after announcing that the game was going to carry the legacy of OG Modern Warfare series, everyone's expectations just got skyrocketed. This game had to be special, and I'm so glad that it lived up to those expectations. The story writing, the dialogue writing, the gameplay, the acting, the way it looked, the way it felt. Call of Duty Modern Warfare succeeded on each and every front. and hence cementing its position as one of the greatest Call of Duties. And it's okay if you disagree, but if you wanna see an in-depth video on why Call of Duty Modern Warfare was such a good game, click here. And I hope you read the disclaimer in the pinned comments, because if you wish to watch the full video now, click here. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.